Hello everyone, it's AJ the One here. How are y'all doing? And I'm doing absolutely fine. Hope you're all doing fine as well. Today I'll be redoing What If Deku Was a Swordsman. The first part, me munching through a honey bun midway, wasn't it? I rewatched it, didn't like it. So I would just simply be redoing it. So anyway, this will be part 1, the redo of What If Izuku Was a Swordsman. Here we go. So Izuku at a young age would have been orphaned by Inko because Izuku was quirkless, and Inko came from a hero family, so she couldn't just allow her son to be quirkless, so she ended up. So also, something else, just to make it more simple, like Hasashi wasn't there for Izuku's birth. I'm gonna say that he was late, and Inko would tell Hasashi that Izuku died when he was birthed. She would make up some excuse for it, like I'm pretty sure it's not is miscarriage even the right word? I'm not fully sure, but she would tell Hasashi that Izuku died, when in reality she just abandoned him. So after a little while, Izuku would have been traveling from orphanage to orphanage. Because after a little while, Izuku would turn 5. No one would adopt him. Some other orphanage would want to buy him. So he would move to another one, and there would be on so on and so forth from that point, until he would end up getting adopted by an elderly man named, what the fuck is his name? I can't remember, so I'm just gonna make one up. Girachi. Fuck it, Girachi. Yup, Girachi. Gerachi. 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 It would be an elderly man wearing a green kimono type thing. I guess a green kimono with a black Hiyori. As this man would end up adopting Izuku and taking him to his home, which would be very far away from civilization. Wouldn't even call it a temple. More like a old traditional Japanese castle. In this castle, the man, Garachi, would have a daughter. She would look very similar to I guess you could just say like Mary Jane, but instead of red hair, it's orange. Same difference though. As her name would be, I'm gonna just be basic. Yuki. Boom. Her name was gonna be Yuki. I'm just gonna keep it basic. It means snow in Japanese. And no, fuck it. I'm gonna come up for a plan with her before it had something to do with snow. That's why her name's gonna be Yuki. I'm gonna make up something for it to do with snow for her later in the future. Anyway, her name would be Yuki. Basically, we would have a quick time skip as the man would train Izuku to the man would train Izuku to be a swordsman. To be a swordsman and how to use his techniques. But it would be a little bit more to this, as Izuku it's not more of like a father's son. It's more like a student master, or even master servant. Basically, Izuku and the man made a deal. If Izuku were to constantly protect Yuki, by the man teaching him how to use his techniques, then he would be fed and live under his roof. That was basically the thing. That was their deal. So basically, Izuku at a very young age would have to kill people, because there were a lot of people who often wanted to hunt down Garachi and kill him, or even just threaten his family. And whenever Garachi wasn't there, it was Izuku's job to kill them, or to take them out. So Izuku at a very young age would have to do this, but he would be very strong. After a little while, not after a little while. After some time, Izuku didn't really like killing people. Oh no, he never liked it, but after some time of doing it, he would just ask Karachi if he could just, like, lock them up until he got back. Karachi agreed to this, but sometimes Izuku would still end up killing the people, not on purpose, only, like, they would end up, like, dying from bleeding out. Or maybe from some internal injury that Izuku inflicted on them. Like stabbing them in the stomach, even though he tried to keep them alive, they would probably end up dying from, like, what is it called? Their liver being punctured? I know the liver is somewhere in the stomach. But things of that sort. We would have at least, I would say Izuku would be around 7 years old. And 7 years old when he, like, finally stopped killing people. Or trying to. And then after that point, we would have we would have around, I'm going to say 6-year time skip. Izuku's going to be 13 years old. So, Izuku would be 13 years old, as he would basically be, he would be training with Garachi. Just learning how to use the sword better. It would just be a quick spar. After this would happen, Izuku would just simply just spend his entire day with Yuki. Them constantly running throughout the forest or doing any other such. But later that day, they would spend, like, the entire day just out in the woods or out somewhere just playing, just not in the house. As it would be dark at some point, it would start to get dark as they would go back to the house, and when they would see the house, they would see that it's up in flames. Izuku would keep his katana by his side. Damn, I forgot what sword he wanted to get. Shit. I'm pretty sure I wanted him to have like an Itachi. Or just a really basic curved katana. One of those. I'm gonna just say a basic curved katana. Boom. Izuku and Yuki would be running towards the houses. They would run inside as they would see like a group of people. They will all be wearing, like, simple black shinobi. I won't even say, like, sort of like ninja. But like a ninja outfit. Similar to, like, the best way to put it is how if you've ever watched or read Demon Slayer, they're like the people who, like, helps out. Like the guys in black and white that picked up Tanjiro when he met the Hashira for the first time. That's basically what they look like. They have, like, a little mask over their face, a little thing dripping over their mouth, and then just a basic ninja-like outfit. And on the back of their shirt thing, on the back of them, or on their back, it would be a kanji for the name Hanzo. Izuku and Yuki, not really knowing what to do, they would just run inside the house. As Yuki wouldn't really be doing anything I would say Yuki also know how to use a sword, so she would end up finding a sword of her own, as the two would just be slashing and cutting through all the shinobi, killing majority of them. After a little while, Yuki and Izuku would end up meeting with their father, as he would be heavily injured, as he would be fighting a really large man. Around 8 foot, muscular, in basic Shogun armor. Shogun is also a samurai. Anyway, this man would be holding a Sephiroth sword. I forgot what the goddamn sword's name was. Like the naming of that type of sword, like a really long sword. I forgot what it was. But the best way to put it, a Sephiroth sword, as he would be holding a really long and large katana. While Garachi was fighting him, while Garachi was fighting him, Yuki would be quick to run in to help our father. Izuku wouldn't. He would be scared to run in at all to proceed to fight, as he didn't know what to do. He didn't know if he should run in and kill him like he did the rest of them, as Izuku didn't like killing. He only did it just to put food on his plate. Truly, but now it's still not an option. He could, if he were to kill him, then he would just help out, but he didn't want to. The only reason he killed those people back there is just because, well, he wasn't really trying to pay attention to where he cut or killed them. He was just focusing on striking and moving on. So Izuku even then still regretted it, so he didn't know fully what to do here. After some time of them two fighting and Izuku just staring, Yuki would end up getting knocked to the ground. Izuku, seeing this, he went running away. Or, away is not a good... He would, run away from the fight and try to, climb on top of stuff to get on top of the ceiling. Because on the ceiling, it's like wooden beams that will go across it, so Izuku could get a quick high ground and jump on top of the man. That was his plan, basically. So while Garachi and the Shogun are fighting, Izuku would successfully get on top of the beams, jump down, and try and stab the man in the neck. When this would happen, the man would basically end up doing a swipe, as he would end up as he would end up cutting Garachi across his chest. But before Izuku could fully get down to stab the man, the sword also ended up coming over top of the man, slicing Izuku across the face, leaving a really large scar. After that, straight across his face, or across his cheek, better to say, as Izuku would sort of fall back behind the man. And the man really not worried about Izuku after this point will continue to walk towards Garachi. Izuku not really getting fazed too much about getting cut across the face, as Garachi has done that before. That's won't be the first time Izuku has gotten cut, as Izuku would have gotten up, run sort of around the man and in front of Garachi, ready to protect him, as him seeing that his sneak attack wasn't going to work. Or him seeing that sneak attack hadn't worked. As Izuku would be quote-unquote fighting the man, as Izuku would just be swinging and the man would just be parrying with this long sword. As Garachi would tell Izuku to get out of the way. As the man finally got tired of Izuku, as he would just knock it out of his hand and reel back his blade to pierce Izuku right in between his eyes. Garachi would constantly tell Izuku to move, but Izuku would be too scared to. As Yuki would also been fully up, witnessing all of this, Garachi would quickly push Izuku out the way, and Garachi would get stabbed in the chest by this man. Yuki and Izuku will both be in shock, screaming out Garachi's name. Well, no, Yuki would probably be like, "Dad!" or something like that. She would probably scream out, "Dad." But they will both be calling out to him. But anyway, Garachi would end up dying as the man would pierce him in his chest. As he would end up wiping the blade up, as he would end up lifting up his... So where the man's hand is on the blade, he would be holding the blade and then lift up his fist with the blade in hand up to his forehead and then strike it down at the ground to get the blood off of it. He would just swing to get the blood off of it, better to say. Just... But anyway, the man would proceed to walk out, leaving the two kids inside the burning building. As Yuki would try to grab her father to run away and try to save him, try and save him. Garachi not being fully dead yet, the man basically figured out that he was gonna die. There's no way that these kids are gonna get him out that fast before the building collapses on him or he dies of bleeding out. So Garachi was telling Izuku to take care of you to get her out of here. Izuku not wanting to disobey his master on his deathbed, he would agree and grab Yuki and try to run off. She would basically be screaming and kicking Izuku, try to get him off of him, and try to get him off of her. But Izuku would hold on tight as he would run out the building. Only like 2 seconds after they got up the building would finally collapse on top of itself, finally officially killing Garaki, but launching the two kids deeper into the forest. As while Izuku was sort of looking back at where the house is, he would see the large man getting like a van, basically, like a black van, which would also have the Hanzo kanji on the side of it. As all the people who did survive and who were just sitting outside waiting, as they will all proceed to just drive away. There would be like 5 vans. As Izuku would sort of after seeing this, Izuku would pass out. We would have like a few months time skip, as I'll basically just give a summary. Izuku and Yuki would basically be living together, as Yuki would not really even want to talk to Izuku. She would sometimes, but not too often. As this will basically be going on for about a month. Until one day, well, if you already watched my last one, if you already know what's about to happen. But it wouldn't be the same. So basically, Izuku would just be outside training, as Yuki would end up walking out of the little hut that they were staying in, with a sword in her hand and her bags packed. With her bags packed, she would basically, as Izuku would be caught off guard, as Yuki would rush towards him and slice at his face, trying to kill him. Izuku would only barely dodge, getting another slash across his face where the man went, or getting another slash across his cheek where the large shogun cut him, basically causing an X to be on his face. Izuku would be confused and ask Yuki what she's doing, as she would have pure fury and rage in her eyes. You let my father die, so now I'll avenge him by killing you and that shogun. As after this point, she would proceed to just rush towards Izuku, as they would clash swords for a little while. Damn, my bad. I didn't mean to do that. They'll be clashing swords for a little while until finally she would basically parry Izuku, stab him right in his stomach, pull out, pause, and slowly remove the blade out of Izuku and let him fall to the ground. And she would proceed to walk away. Of course, Izuku would end up surviving, as he would end up waking up sometime later, as he would not have a lot of blood left. As he would be extremely tired. After some time, he would finally end up making it to civilization. He would end up making it to the city of... oh shit, what was one of the... Damn, how did I mess up another city name, bro? He would end up making it to a city that's not too far from Hosu. I would say about an hour away from Hosu. As Izuku ended up collapsing in the middle of the street, he would end up waking up in the hospital, seeing a hero Ed shot next to him, or not Ed, as he would basically see the hero Ed shot just standing over top of him, or not. Damn, he would see the hero Ed shot talking to another doctor while standing over Izuku. I don't know why I kept missing the doctor part. But basically, Izuku would sort of wake up and look up at Ed shot, sort of confused on what was going on. As Izuku would sort of have a quick moment of PTSD when he saw Ed shot, because he looked like a ninja. So Ezekiel will sort of freak out for a few seconds and then realize that he's wearing blue, red, and gold. He's not the same guy. But basically, Edshot will actually realize that Ezekiel was awake and be staring at Ezekiel sort of confused. Like, oh, hello there. How are you feeling? Is everything okay? As Ezekiel sort of just nod slowly, as the doctor would begin to like run tests on Ezekiel to see if everything's okay with him, his reaction time by hitting him in the kneecap with a hammer, and all that other such as well. As well, Edshot would proceed to ask Ezekiel what happened, as he was bleeding out in the middle of the road. Edshot needs to know what happened. Ezekiel doesn't tell Edshot the whole story, or he tells him mostly everything he knows except for the part about Yuki stabbing him. He tells him that he was living with a criminal named Garachi that adopted him at a young age. A group of mercenaries, which is not even. I don't think Ezekiel would even assume mercenaries. He would just assume like a group of people that had the kanji Hanzo on their back. Came in and killed Garachi. And his daughter ended up running away, and now he's here. Edshot would fully believe this as well. Makes sense. Garachi was a well-known criminal. So Edshot would basically set the Ezekiel story and ask Ezekiel, has he done any crimes? Ezekiel would sort of hesitate to answer, but this would be enough for Edshot to figure out that Ezekiel has definitely done crimes. Edshot's immediate thought would basically be that Ezekiel probably killed someone or something similar. Or something similar to that. So because of this, Edshot would basically give Ezekiel sort of something like a pass, if you would, as he would tell Ezekiel that he was going to go to another orphanage, and if he were to kill anyone again, Edshot or a hero, or no, I feel like Edshot, just to put it in deeply, just don't do it again. I will personally come in to and take you down and put you in prison. Ezekiel would accept this as he would tell Edshot that he didn't even like killing anyway. But after a little while, Ezekiel would have to stay in the hospital for a little bit. And during the time that Edshot was about to leave, Ezekiel would end up asking Edshot to stay for a little while. Edshot, being a nice guy, would comply, as Ezekiel and Edshot would spend at least almost an hour just talking. And Edshot will find Ezekiel to be very cool. Or Ezekiel would find Edshot to be cool, and Edshot would just enjoy Ezekiel's company. After a little while, or not even a little while, Ezekiel and Edshot would Edshot will constantly come in the hospital to check up on Ezekiel to see how he was doing, and Ezekiel wouldn't mind this at all. Some of the doctors even told Edshot to continue to come in because it was helping Ezekiel recover. After about a week, Ezekiel would fully be healed, and it was time for him to go off to an orphanage. As Ezekiel would not accept going off to any orphanage, as he would say that he would rather live with Edshot. As every time they would try to grab Ezekiel to get him in the car to leave for an orphanage, Ezekiel would just truly run around the entire hospital. He would jump over grown-ass men. He would slide into their legs, move faster than they could truly perceive. After about an entire day, they would finally end up calling Edshot and bringing him down to the hospital to see what was going on. Ezekiel would be excited to see Edshot. He would end up running over towards him and jumping at him, or jumping sort of like not in for a hug, but like jumping towards him to, basically for a hug, I guess, yeah. But it wouldn't be like an actual sincere hug. Izuku would just jump up towards him. Headshot would end up catching Izuku and asking Izuku what was all the fuss about. Izuku would explain that they didn't want to go to another orphanage again, and he wanted to live with him. Headshot heavily debating this, that he's already just started being a hero and now he has to take care of a kid. Headshot would spend at least, Headshot would just tell Izuku that he can spend with him, that he can spend at least a few months with him until he actually finally decided. During the time, Izuku and Headshot grew closer to each other, almost like father and son. And after the month was up, Headshot finally decided to adopt Izuku. I don't know what Headshot's actual last name is, but I am gonna search that up after the. I'm gonna search that up a little while later. As this is where I'm gonna end this part here. Izuku is getting adopted by Headshot. That's pretty much the whole thing. I'm just setting up the villain. Izuku's getting adopted by Headshot. So I'm gonna end this off. Hope you all have a nice day. Please like, subscribe, comment, share, all that cool stuff. Hope you all have a nice day. This is AJ the One signing out.